Hi, peace talks to end India's longest running insurgency may be floundering. Yes, you heard it right, the Naga Peace Talks are in serious peril. I'm Anubha Bhonsle and I do the news here without noise. First, the biggest, the most powerful and one of the oldest Naga rebel groups, the NSCN-IM, or what's also called the Isaac Muivah group, has demanded the removal of the government's interlocutor, N Ravi, from the peace talks. NSCN-IM says the peace process is in simmering tension, it's reached tipping point, all because of Ravi's vitriolic attack and mischief on the Naga issue. All their words. Now, they're also saying he's played dirty by allegedly changing the wording of a historic 2015 agreement. Let's pause here and add some context. Who's N Ravi? He's the governor of Nagaland, also an IB man, been at the forefront of the Naga peace process for many years. If you Google 2015 and Naga talks, you'll find a picture of Naga leaders, including the big man Isaac Muivah with Prime Minister Modi. N Ravi can also be seen there. That day in August of 2015 was considered a historic day. A framework agreement was signed between the government and the oldest rebel group, the NSCN-IM. Based on that framework, the current peace talks are happening. Now, for much of the last 5 years, contents of this framework agreement have been kept secret. One of the key demands of the NSCN-IM has been a separate flag and a constitution, which remains somewhat unresolved. The other demand they have is that of an ethnic Naga homeland that would include Nagaland, but also some of the Naga inhabited areas of states like Manipur, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. Now, remember, these states have always remained uneasy with the peace talks. They've objected naturally to any territorial change. Why are we talking about all of this now? The NSCN-IM's accusations against N Ravi are coming at a time when another round of meetings to thrash out a final agreement were set to begin. Crucially, 86-year-old Isaac Muivah is believed to be in Delhi for treatment. The I in the NSCN-IM is Isaac Muivah, the other chairman of the Naga rebel group. Ironically, he was in hospital in 2015 when that historic agreement was being signed. He passed away in 2016. Now, you'll ask, aren't there other Naga rebel groups who are also part of the peace process apart from the NSCN-IM? Well, yes, they certainly are. And many of them do not agree with the stand to remove N Ravi. In fact, some are saying removing N Ravi as the interlocutor at this point in time is just delaying tactics by the NSCN-IM. Others are saying patience among the Nagas themselves is running thin. I also have to add there has been unease on account of other factors apart from just Mr. N Ravi's attitude. In fact, after the scrapping of Article 370 in Kashmir, there has been unease about Article 371 that gives special provisions to many states of the Northeast. There's also resentment among Naga groups on orders of the state government, that's the Nagaland government, to block extortion from the public by militant groups. Now remember, many of these groups like the NSCN-IM have long claimed that this is just legitimate tax. Just as an insight, the NSCN-IM keeps the most well-documented accounting of this so-called legitimate tax. Additionally, the Naga Chief Secretary recently directed all departmental heads to submit names of government employees whose family members or relatives are members of underground organizations like the NSCN-IM. Now, typically in Nagaland, this could mean every second or third house, if not every house. The NSCN-IM says this directive to its employees to declare their relationship with Naga underground groups was a retrograde step aimed at crippling the Naga political movement. Also, there have been killings of NSCN-IM cadre even though there is a ceasefire agreement between the government and this rebel group. Now, I must add here that for years, the confusion over whether the ceasefire applied just to Nagaland or was without territorial limits has been allowed to simmer. But recently, after the killing of NSCN-IM cadre in Arunachal Pradesh, the army came out and said that it was applicable only in Nagaland. Just in conclusion, in many parts of Manipur, Indian Army soldiers and NSCN-IM men, both with guns, are maintaining what is somewhat a very perilous ceasefire. Keeping peace with guns around is a lot of hard work, and which is the reason these peace talks are extremely crucial. If you've been watching, thank you for your time.